Good morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi. This is our second shir in Mishna. We're learning here Berura. Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi is located in Yerushalayim Yer Kodesh on Rehov Zikron Yaakov number 6 in the Beit Knesset of Chanukah Yeshiva. So you can walk from the central bus station, which is close by, take the bus from there, drive if you have your own car, and when you're coming from Furst, please join us for our shiring. We'd love to have you participate and get to know you when you're visiting friends, relatives, and just coming to have the mitzvah of being in Eretz Yisrael. So please join us. Okay, we're going to just finish up on a point we left off with yesterday, that we were talking about if you have a mitzvah, Doraisa, and Mikra Megillah. So if you have time to do both, so Mikra Megillah comes first because of Persumi Nisa. Now if there's no time, then you won't push off a mitzvah Doraisa, right? Because of Mikra Megillah, because mitzvah Doraisa will come first. If you can lose a mitzvah Doraisa, you don't want to do that. You'll have to sacrifice Mikra Megillah. However, we can see there's a bit of opinion, difference of opinion in the Berhetiv in terms of Bris Milah. The Mr. Berura, let's just focus in what the Mr. Berura taught us about Bris Milah. That's in Sivka and Tet. Who would like to read? We'll read the Mishnah and then we'll see the Bear Hativ on this point as well.
Simon what? I'm sorry.
Tuf Reish Tei Zayin.
Okay.
And Sif Cotton Tet. That's in the first column, right hand column, almost in the middle there. B'di'ika shows there is time. Meaning when you have time for both, then the Mikra Megillah will come first, and then the mitzvah will come, even the mitzvah Doraisa will come afterwards. But if you have no time for either, for both of them, so then you have to sacrifice the mitzvah of Kriyas Megillah and do the mitzvah Doraisa.
Okay.
So Mr. Boyd and Sifkat Test mentioned up Bris Milah. Take a look at that. Want to read that first, Montezio?
Yes, but I still can't find it.
Okay.
In right here, Tess?
Milah.
Okay, thank you. Bidika shahus v'chui.
Shows, right.
Okay, v'hu hadin le'inyan milah umgila im ika shahus la'asos shetehem megillah kodem mishum pirsumei nisa.
Right. So if you have a Bris Milah and a Megillah, and if you have time for both, right? So then the Mikra Megillah will come before the Bris Milah because of Persumi Nisa. Okay. However, take a look. The Mishnah brings down what the custom is. The custom happens to be not like that.
Okay. Do I need to read the stuff in the brackets?
No, you can leave the brackets.
Okay. V'ha'olam nohagin lamul kodem hamgilah. Uchtil kaman besof siman tet resh tzadi gimel.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's it.
Right.
Okay.
Good.
Maybe they want to do the Milah Kodim because the model we don't want the model to wait around and they'll be in the middle of the reading the Megillah.
Right. So those
That'd be difficult.
those are what called the Devarim studying. Those are
Right.
other considerations.
Right.
Right. But in the pure light of the halacha,
Right.
right? When you're looking to do that, because a person needs a Mikra Megillah should come first.
Right.
But nevertheless, we see that the the minig is not like that. The minig is to do the Bris Milah first before the Megillah, as mentioned in Taf Reish Sadi Gimel at the very end there. So you can take a look there. It's on. Just jump over there. Hold the place at where we are because we're coming back. And we'll jump over to Taf Reish Sadi Gimel. It's on Daf Kuf Samit Amar Aleph. Kuf Samit Amar Aleph. Page Kuf Samit Amar Aleph. Right is Taf Reish Sadi Gimel at the top, and then there's Taf Reish Sadi Dalet on the bottom of the Makabir. Yeah, and in the very last line you have the din of Bris Milah in the Ramah. You have it there? You found him up as yo.
I hadn't found it yet. What comes first, ayin or tzadi?
Ayin comes first.
I'm going the wrong way then, no?
Takes time. Don't worry, you'll get it straight. Don't worry.
There's the tzadi, okay. Tough resh tzadi base.
We're over here, so over here. Haga.
Okay, thank you.
אסור לאכול קודם שישמע כמגילה.
Test.
Is this where we are?
Kuf
No,
test, yeah.
no.
That Kuf Samik, the remark at the end.
Over here.
Okay.
So,
Haga.
tough race Sadi Gimel, which is on top side Kuf
Thank
Samik.
Yeah.
That's Mishna said. Mishna said, so Simon tough race Sadi Gimel. See the remark there? Haga. What's the remark?
Okay, you want me to read?
Sure.
Ksheyesh milah befurim malin hatinok kodem karias hamegillah.
Like that, right? Even though the Mishnah Berura said, that you should really read the Megillah first because of pursuing Nisa. The Ramah is saying here, right? Kishesh Mila before we have a Mila, Bris Mila on Purim. Malim Tinik Kodem Kriyas Megillah. What could be the possible reason? Let's take a look at the Mishnah Berura in Suf Cotton Yud Beis. Have it there?
Okay.
Inside column there.
Okay. Malin hatinok kodem v'chuli v'asmachta lazeh dichsiv laihudim haisa ora v'sicha v'shashon
The Sason.
v'sason.
That's a pasuk from the Megillah. That's from Megillah Esther, right? For Yehudim, for the Jews, there was light, simcha, joy, and sason is
Happiness,
joy.
enjoyment.
It's like exhilaration. It's like exhilaration. It's like
That's what we say in
exhilaration.
Havdalah.
Yeah, oh yes, oh yeah. There are very special reasons why we say this puzzle. You can ask the question why we say something has to do from Megillah Esther at the time of Havdalah, but we're not going to go into that now. Maybe you'll remind me later another day where we'll maybe spend some time on that. Okay. Okay, but Sason, go ahead. What's Sason a remiz to?
Maramez al milah v'hapri chadash kasav diakdim v'rias
Kriyas.
hamegillah.
So the Pri Chadash says not like the Ramah. The Pri Chadash say you should be makdim the Megillah before the Milah, but the Ramah says that you should, or at least that the he's not even bringing down to saying minhag. It says that the Tina comes first. The Kain Mashma, let's finish it up.
V'chein mashma b'veur hagrai
Hagra, that's the Vilna, the going from Vilna going. That's Be'ir Hagra.
demita mea ha al harama bazeh.
But the Vilna Hagra, he has questions on the Ramah based on what he said here, because it's according to the dry halakha, as we learned by us, the dry halakha should indicate that the Kriyas Megillah should come first, because of pursuing Nisa, right? Because that was the whole thing we've been learning, that even a mitzvah deraisa is pushed off because of Kriyas Megillah, because of pursuing Nisa. So here the Ramah is saying that no, that the Milah comes first. So yesh v'yesh. So if anyone has the wonderful opportunity,
I saw this, we did it at 12 o'clock.
yeah. Okay. So see,
Together with
Oh,
the-
maybe they wanted to makdim it to Brit Milah. So you see makdimim. You want
yeah,
to do it right after davening.
yeah. But he said it was at 12 o'clock. He said it was at 12 o'clock.
What, 12 o'clock? Brit?
Yeah. No, sometimes when
Maybe
people
it's
from
the
family.
Sudan, maybe the Sudan did it 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
the Brit did it before.
that's another story.
That's also-
You got to know
Maybe
the whole
it's
story.
beforehand.
Yeah, it could be.
Because they did it together with the Sudan.
Could be. Sometimes they delay a bris milah, even though there's a strong thing of being quick in doing the bris milah is reading makdim the mitzvahs. Sometimes family has to come. Let's say that
The boy should be drunk.
Well, then you want to be makdim as early as
But the
possible.
moil won't be drunk.
Oh, you're testing the kid for the bilirubin, and you're testing the oil for the alcohol. Anyway,
Rabbi, what's that term you keep using? I think it means the more we do something, you do that mitzvah first.
Zrizim
What do you
makdim
mean?
mitzvahs.
Right.
Zrizim makdim mitzvahs, meaning zrizim, meaning those people who are enthusiastic, they give priority to doing mitzvahs. It's a very hard phrase to translate. Zrizim makdim mitzvahs. Zrizim mechlal, what's zrizim in English? So I like to do enthusiastic. Yeah, I like enthusiastic. I like enthusiastic. So those who are enthusiastic, they always give priority to mitzvahs. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Ber Heiti. That's all in the case where they have. That's all in the case where they have time for both. So there's a little bit of a dispute as to what comes first. Going back to Tafresh Hey Zayin in the Ber Heiti. Sifhei. Yamur.
We always wait to have the davening to do the bris.
Yeah, but here, so the Megillah is right after they have Kriyas Torah, right? Then you have Mikra Megillah, right? Then you finish up the davening, right? So they would, for example, on Shabbos or Yom Tov, usually the bris milah is done before Musaf, after Kriyas Torah, right? After Kriyas Torah, that you do the bris milah before Musaf. And then there's by Rosh Hashanah, the bris milah is done before the Tekiyas. Done before the Tekiyas. On Yom Kippur, okay, so, yeah. So, here, you're asking a good point. Usually, Mordecai's asking like this. Usually we always use the bris milah, is always, except Shabbos Yom Tov, the bris milah always takes place at the end of the davening. You finish up your davening, you finish your davening, done davening, then klater, right? Then you bring in the Rachanimo. So why is it here that we're sort of interrupting in the middle of Shachris over here, right? The Mikra Megillah is part of Shachris, right? So that's even a stronger point to say that the Mikra Megillah should come first. Mikra Megillah is part of Shachris. Bris milah is usually done after the davening. So in general, you're not usually makdim a bris milah in the middle of Shabbos. Even Shabbos and Yom Tov, you do it after Shabbos before Musaf, right?
Sure.
Yeah. The bris milah when bris milah takes place at the end of davening.
After Musaf,
You mean on Shabbos?
on Shabbos.
The minig is you should do it before Musaf. Many times they wait until after Musaf also. Many times, for whatever practical reason, whatever it happens to be, right? I know because one of my sons had a bris milah on Shabbos, so we had planned it that it should be before Musaf, but it happened to be that the moral didn't come until mid Musaf, so we had to wait till after Musaf. Right? So that was the way it was. But the minig was again these things are sometimes different minhagim. But here, Mordecai is making a very good point. Bris milah usually takes place after Shacharis. So what's the question? Why would you be makdim, right? The bris milah before the end of Shacharis. Let you finish. You have kriya after Chazor Shashatz, right? There's no halal on Purim, so you have after Chazor Shashatz you have Kriyas Torah, right? After Kriyas Torah you have Mikra Megillah, right? Finish up your davening, and then bris milah. Yes.
I was in a show once in Rosh Hashanah that had a bris milah before Musaf.
Yeah. Right before Muslim. That's when it's supposed to be done. Some even do it before the Tekiyas, because it's a big thing that if the Baal Tekiya can be a moil also and with the motzitz the dam, as the dam of that's not so pashut a little bit. Sometimes it might be a mechitza in the Tekiya shayfer as well. It's not so pashut, but okay.
What's really tachashub, the Megillah or the bris? Bris you do all year round.
Right.
The Megillah is one time a year.
Also, it could be
So
started
it's
with
bris you should be do for.
Could be also. Now you're going to see. Take a look now. This is when you have time for both, right? Now the Ber Heiti is going to discuss that there's only time for one. What do you do? Take a look at Ber Heiti in Sivkat Nehei, You have it there. Let's see. Want to continue reading for us, Mitzvah?
That's a little small
Small
for me.
area, so
Yeah, yeah.
maybe perhaps. Yisrael, you want to read for us?
Yeah.
You got it there? The Efsha, right? That's where up until now we're talking where it's possible to do both the Mikra Megillah and the Mitzvah D'Oraisa, in which case, in general, Mikra Megillah will come first because of pursuing these, and then the Mitzvah D'Oraisa. But let's say time is short and you only have time for one, so then we learned you always do the Mitzvah D'Oraisa, and you lose out Mikra Megillah, because Mikra Megillah is sof kosof, even though it's very chashuv, it's Medivris Nevi'im, Medurabanan, you're not going to push off permanently a Mitzvah D'Oraisa. So therefore you lose out Mikra Megillah, you do the Mitzvah D'Oraisa. Okay? Let's see what the Ber Hativ has to say about this. In the case where you only have time for one.
For the reading of covenant test, right?
Excuse me?
We're back to covenant test.
Covenant.
Kufman base.
Covenant.
It's actually Kufnun, page Kufnun Aleph on the base.
Sorry.
It's the Ber Hativ, Hey, with the Efsha. Got it there, Yisrael? It's on the right hand side of the page.
For the Efsha, it says. Let me just find the place in the meantime. Kufnun Beis, right?
Kufnun Aleph.
Kufman Aleph, sorry.
No.
Ahmed base.
On the base.
No.
For the Efsha, it's possible. Aber im hu samuch lechashecha.
Let's say it's close to Shkia, right? Let's say Shkia is 6 o'clock, right? Sunset is 6 o'clock. And let's say you have, to do a bris milah properly, you need 15 minutes, and to read a real quick Megillah, reading is also in the 15 minutes. So you got 15 minutes before sunset, right? What are you going to do? Okay? It's getting close to sunset, and you only have time for one, either the bris milah or Mikra Megillah. What are you going to do?
Yukra Megillah, Sharita Megillah. Daham meis mitzvah Efsha likvara balayla.
This is as we learned yesterday, because the mace mitzvah, right, if it's a mace, it has to be buried, so you can do that at night.
The whole meis mitzvah is possible, you can bury it in the night time. Aber imhu be'inyan she'i Efsha likvara Achar kach mibnei listim, but if it's the matter is it's impossible to bury it after that time because of the fear of bandits.
At night the bandits are going to come out, or let's say you're in a place where they don't allow public burials at nighttime. Right? So again, as I mentioned yesterday, this would be a shaila, right? In the time when this was written, they didn't have refrigeration. So it might have been a question of a real covered mace that the decay would start. But in our time, when you can refrigerate, maybe you wouldn't necessarily say this, right? Yeah? That's a real question. Lower later, that's a real question that has to be asked, right? Now, Bavada Yidke, go ahead.
Bavada Yidche Mikra Megillah.
Definitely the Mikra Megillah will be pushed away in order to bury the mace while it's still daytime if you can't do it at night. Okay?
I Magen Avraham, because you're going to look into Magen Avraham over Taz. In Taz, Mila.
Now, here we're getting to the point about bris milah. Now you have milah and Mikra Megillah.
Mila or Mikra Megillah. You have both bris milah and Mikra Megillah together. What do you do? The Ikra Shahos Lishteh. If there's enough time for both bris milah and Megillah, Mikra Megillah Koidem. Megillah comes first. Shum Pursuman Isim, because of the prophesizing the miracle.
Right, so if you, again as we learned, right, if you have time for both, Mikra Megillah comes first before the milah because of Pursuman Isim. This could maybe a possible answer to you, Mordecai. An economy, perhaps, if it's going to be taking place, the Mikra Megillah and bris milah in terms of Shabbos, the way it usually is done, right? So you probably finish Shabbos and do the bris milah after the the chakras and have bris milah in its proper time as we normally do after chakras. But let's say for some reason, let's say the milah couldn't have been done at chakras, and you didn't have a megillah at chakras either. Now it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Let's say there's only one megillah in town, and the first minyan had to have the megillah, and the second minyan didn't have it, so they finished up chakras. And now there's a chance at 10 o'clock they get the megillah, and there's also a chance to do bris milah. So it's, in a parva setting, a sterile setting of not in the context of chakras. So what do you do then? That could be the question. Because I would think, or if it's a standard chakra setting, we'd probably finish up chakras like you normally do, and which would include brit megillah first, and then do bris milah like it's usually done after chakras.
Sometimes they have it in the morning.
Yeah, right. The mole. Let's say they couldn't get the. Right. They both showed up. They both showed up to shul. The moil and the guy with the migla. They both showed up at the same time. And it's now 10 o'clock in the morning, right? That's the way it was. Right. They had to get a megillah from out of town. And the guy came at 10 o'clock in the morning. And the guy with the mole came on the same.
He says he's not going to drop it in a half hour.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so what do you do?
Rabbi, what's persona misa?
Persuming Nisa is the miracle, and persuming is to publicize, the publication,
Okay.
the advertisement of the miracle. We had this by Hanukkah also. We light the menorah. Why? Because of persuming Nisa, because of we want to publicize the miracle of the lighting of the menorah and the 8 days of keeping the menorah going. Hashem did a tremendous miracle for us, time of Hanukkah. So likewise, we want to publicize at the time of Purim the miracles Hashem did for us at the time of Mordecai and Esther.
Is it misa with a mem or a
Nisa,
nisa with a nun?
A nun, Nisa.
Nes is
From
a
Nes.
miracle. Nes.
Nes, miracle.
Not
Okay.
samech.
That's
Okay,
right.
thank you.
There we go. Go ahead, Yisrael, continue. Okay, so you have Milo and Mikra Megillah, the Ikashah stehen, so Mikra Megillah is Kaidem. Mikra Megillah comes first because of Persum Nisa, because of the publication of the miracle. We're advertising for a Kadosh Baruch Hu. During Purim and Hanukkah, we have a special job. All the Jews of the world have a special job. We become a Kadosh Baruch Hu's ad agency. Right? We're publicizing a Kadosh Baruch Hu's doing miracles in this world. Now, the Ilekeshos, let's say you don't have time.
Die Lekerschoisse stehen, Mila Bismanoi, da haben wir die Reise. Die Lekerschoisse stehen, we don't have time for both of them. Bismanoi, Mila Bismanoi, da haben wir die Reise.
Like when you have the Ilekeshos, if you have no time for both of them, Mila Bismana, you have a Mila in its time, meaning the 8th day. That's Havi Deraisa. Should be Kotemes, the Mikra Megillah, the Havi Derabanan. So you have this is your cheshbon. Your cheshbon, your equation is as follows. You have Mikra Megillah, which is Medurabanan, even though it may be even Medivri Navim, very, very, very far back. But nevertheless, Mila Bismanai, right? Mila on the 8th day is a mitzvah deraisa, so that should come first before Mikra Megillah, which is Medurabanan. That's the pre-Chodesh. That's one of the commentaries on Halacha, right? That's the pre-Chodesh.
I'm surprised that it doesn't say do the bris milah the next day.
Hold on, that
You're
you're
going to say that, right?
that's the very next line. That's the very next line. You see where we're reading from in the Ber Hated. The Ber Hated, we're the last line almost. That was now Aval B'Trumas Adeshin.
Trumas Adeshin, Simen Reish, what's this, Reish Samach?
Reish Samach, or some say Reish Samach Vav. Okay, the question where it's
Tzadeh Lama Ibcha.
Tzadeh Loma. He is questioning to say the opposite. He questions to say the opposite. Why?
When there is enough time, Mila should become first.
Oh, so when you have time, right? So that's when Megillah comes first. But when you're, that's when Kishiyesh Shos Yakdim Hamila, Kishiyein Shos Yakdim Megillah. That when there is time, you're makdim the Megillah. When there's no time, you makdim the. When there's no time, Kishiyein Shos, right? When there's no time, what do you put first? Megillah. Now, why should you put Megillah? We just got through saying that Mikra Megillah is Midarabanan. So why should the Bris Milah Deraisa be pushed on because of Mikra Megillah when there's no time? Right? We say, here leave the time. What's the reason?
Merely a time to not call the mall, but she. This is how you do that. I'm shocked.
So
Because to me, it's a reason I need to do bris milah on the 9th day.
right. The reason is why? Why should you do Megillah if there's no time, and let the Bris Milah pass from Bismano? Because you're going to be able to do it on Tisha. You're going to be able to do it on the 9th day. You can do it. It's going to have the boy's going to have a Bris Milah the next day, on the 9th day. So we want to have a Bris Milah on the 8th day. Many times we have to wait that you're not going to have a Bris Milah on the 8th
So
day.
you don't have to do it on the 9th already.
So you do it on the 9th.
You don't have to do it on the 9th.
Oh, well, let's say the 9th is Shabbos. Let's say the 9th is Shabbos.
Yeah.
So it'll be on the 10th, right? And let's say,
If you miss the 8 already, you can do whatever you want.
yeah.
Why does he say if there is time to the both of them,
Right.
you do the Milah Kodim? That's the opposite of what we saw beforehand.
Yeah, okay. That's the machlokus we had previously. Remember the Ramah said that.
Sheminisa.
Yeah. Well, what the Mishna told us,
Yeah.
right? That the pre-chodesh was of the opinion that the bris milah is pushed away because
Right.
pursuing Nisa of
Right.
the Mikra Megillah. But the Ramah said no. The Ramah said that Milah should come first, and then Mikra Megillah, and then we saw the Mishna there that the Goin and the others said no, that it's apparently not the way it should be. And as the Mishnah said over here, Noigin Lamal Kodim Megillah. That's what the minhag of the Ramah was.
Right.
The Goin, was we saw the Mishnah brought down, said he had questions, and really Mikra Megillah should come first.
Right.
Right, so you have, so that's what he said. So here, according to this, the Trumas Adeshin is probably in that camp that holds that you should do Milah before the Mikra Megillah.
Right.
Okay, but the Kiddush is that when there's no time, right,
Mhm.
then you're marking the Megillah.
Mm.
You do the Megillah because you'll maul the child on the 9th day, right? Because he's going to get his mitzvah doraisa. So the question is, how do you look at the Yom Shmini, that we know that even if the child is a bris bismano, even Shabbos is doicha, Yom Tov is doicha if it's a Yom Shmini. If it's the 8th day, it comes out on Shabbos, right? If it wasn't a cesarean, if the child was born regularly, the child gets his bris milah on Shabbos, right? Which is normally to make a cut of that sort on Shabbos is an issa d'oraisa, right? So the moil is doing an issa d'oraisa, at least one. Could be many others as well. But it's all sorach hamila, it'll be mutter. Nevertheless, when it comes to losing out that aspect of the 8th day, of bris milah of the 8th day, according to the Trumas Adeshin, there's a very strong concept that he should read the Megillah, because you're going to lose that entirely if you don't do the Mikra Megillah on Purim. You can lose that entirely, and wait for the next day, the 9th day, to do the bris milah.
Isn't it a problem to push off the Brit Milah?
There-
That's like
the concept of the chorus only comes when the child's 13 years old. The father's not chayav chorus if he delays the Mila, and only the person himself if he's delaying a Mila, and he was 13 years old. He's bar onshin, so there's this there's an onish chasv'shom chorus who didn't have bris Mila.
Okay.
And also, so from what we see also, let's say you have a bris she'ena bizmana. The child, it's already the 10th day, it's Purim the 10th day, and now the Billy Reuben came back to where it settled down to where it should be, right? You get, the doctor says, right, the Moel says, okay, we can do the Milah, it's Purim, right? And now it's only, and they got the call and the Megillah at the same time, right?
Do the Megillah first.
That would be for a Pashut. That would be for a Pashut sack, that you do the Mikra Megillah first, because you're already delaying the Milah anyway, right? Since the Milah is, you're not going to have, you lost out several days, or yesterday at least, you lost out the 8th day bris Milah, so apparently you would certainly read the Megillah first, and then just do like the Trumas Adeshin says, and even in the case where you're losing at Yom Shmini itself, right? If you lost out Yom Shmini previously already, so for the halakha should be Again, you have to ask a Shai Little Mice if it comes up. But before that, you'd read the Megillah first and wait to do the Bris Milah Shalom Bismano on the next day on Moitzi Purim.
Don't we learn that Moshe Rabbeinu was Chayav Misa for delaying the bris?
Yes. Well, yes, that's true.
So
That's true.
how is that consistent with you just said that the father's not Chayav Misa?
Right. So the Mishra B'Furst Moshe Rabbeinu was in a gather a class by himself, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu's done judges the tzaddikim to put aside in the very most delicate ways.
What comes first?
In the middle of a question, no longer, sir. So therefore, I don't know if we can be dumber to other people. Moshe Rabbeinu was under the microscope of the Kadosh Baruch Hu's
So
judgment.
what's the point of teaching us that if it's not relevant?
No, there's a lot of because and what did he do? Right? What did he do? He set up the tent for Tzipporah and the children. He get them settled before he did the Bris Milah. Right? That's all he did. He didn't put it off. He didn't even lose the day.
I thought he put it off because he was on the journey to Mitzrayim. He was going to be in Mitzrayim.
He came to his stop on the way to Mitzrayim, right? And then he delayed by delaying. Yeah, he delayed the bris. By delaying the bris, the Kadosh Baruch Hu had a complaint against him.
So why do we learn that story if it's not relevant?
No, it is relevant, but it's not relevant in terms of being Chayav Misa. First of all, that is before Matan Torah, right? Right. So you can ask the question, well, why do we learn anything before Matan Torah, right? Last week's parsha was Parshas Yisro. That was the parsha of Matan Torah. So the Torah should have began with Parshas Yisro. Why do we need to learn anything before Matan Torah? Because still, there are a lot of things Hashem wants us to learn, even in spite of the fact that it was before the time of the giving of the
But there
Torah.
are many things we learned before Matan Torah that are relevant today. I mean, we learned Abraham was a Baal Chesed. That's relevant to today, right? So there are many things we learn that are relevant. This is something that we're learning, but we're saying it's not relevant.
Well, first of all, you see that one thing you learn from it, a woman can do Bris Milah. You learn that a woman can support the Bris Milah. And you see that the woman can do Bris Milah. Learn from that, right? Also, in general, there's such a thing as Rizim Makdim Lemis. I mean, don't forget, this was, nevertheless, even though it was before Matan Torah, this was still a mitzvah from the Zera Avram Avinu. We were still Jews, these offspring of Avram Avinu. We had a special mitzvah even before Matan Torah, right, of Bris Milah, before the giving of the Torah, because Avram Avinu was commanded that he, his household, and all his offspring should always do Bris Milah. Right? So this was a relevant mitzvah even before that of Matan Torah. Right? And even then you see that from the time of Avram Avinu, if the Jew didn't do Bris Milah, there was a serious consequence. Even to put it off, to delay it.
Another question.
Yes.
And yet, we didn't do Bris Milah in Mitzrayim.
That was a criticism. It was a criticism.
We were criticized for that?
Yeah, it wasn't to our benefit not to have done that. We would have been much better off had we done Bris Milah. It was a criticism, sure.
Well, why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu say, everybody do Bris Milah, I'm here now, let's get to it?
They did do it for Pesach. They had that.
They had before.
Pesach,
before
right.
Pesach, they had to do-
That's where we learned that they hadn't done it before.
Right. And don't forget, there was a gezerah on the boy. It was a miracle that boys were even allowed to live. They didn't even allow the boys to live.
So it was Sakana?
There were a lot of things. I mean, look again. Why they didn't do it? I'm not prepared to go into the details of why. You're going to have to research it a bit to really speak on it authoritatively. But they were obviously ostensibly they had good reasons why they didn't do it. But we have to explore that. If I have time, I'll try and look into it. Okay, Mitzvah Shem will continue tomorrow. And,